Hello, good evening. Brendan Rodgers got 3 years left on his contract and he is the highest paid manager in the club's history. He's been in charge, longer at Leicester than any other club in his career. It is uncharted territory for him, I think probably for the fans as well. And despite his frustrations and concerns over the direction of the clubs, he won't walk away. Says who? Says Rob Tanner of the Athletic. We'll see.
It's time!
Strap yourself in.
Because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right, my Fox and Foxettes, note to self, don't do shows at 10 o'clock on a Thursday or have them run over 10 o'clock on Thursday during August when you live in Poole because it's firework nights. I'll tell you what, it's been a joy to hear the fireworks because we're not going to get many from Leicester, are we, over the next few weeks? Chelsea, Spurs, Man United, even Brighton. Can you see us getting any points from them? And I'm fingers crossed we might get a draw against Villa. Should he go now? Well, he was defiant in his press conference. We will be going through that in a minute, but this is Leicester Till I Die TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are watching, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, if you're on that as well, and obviously YouTube. If you're on YouTube, do what the little handle says there. Please do subscribe. And if you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, thank you for lending me your ears. This is where you can find
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. Broadcasting live worldwide.
Indeed, we are. And I'm just waiting, hopefully, for my co-host to appear, but I might be doing this on my own. I don't know. He's probably had a drink and fallen asleep on the settee. Ray is in again. Good evening, Ray. Thank you for coming back. And Jack from the Final Whistle. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for popping on. Please get over and give Jack your support. New Leicester channel just starting out. Let's get him up and running off at a fair pace. The Final Whistle, YouTube and on Twitter. Great guy, Jack. Make sure you give him your support. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do it. There's a good piece in The Athletic before we go on to the conference. There's a good piece in The Athletic. My God, the fireworks are still going on. And I just read that to you. And it's written by Rob Tanner of The Athletic, like I say, who is Leicester's correspondent. You may remember he used to be covering the BB. He used to be covering Leicester City for Radio Leicester. Honestly, I don't know what I've done with my teeth today. Can you hear it going off in the background? He starts the piece with, after 3 games, it would be premature and frankly indicative of pure panic to describe Leicester City's start to the campaign as a crisis. But there are all the ingredients to become one. Yeah. We have got Rob Tanner on live with us on Monday night at 9 o'clock. We'll be going through that article with him. I have put the link in Twitter and in the Facebook group as well. It is an excellent read. £1 for 6 months. Then it goes up to $7.99, but worth every penny. I have subscribed, and I love reading what Rob Tanner writes. Next to Fabrizio, and probably equal with Fabrizio, he knows what's going on at Leicester. He really does. I can see which way Jack's going here. Get Fofana gone. He's. I don't want to spend too long on Fofana because we spoke a lot about him in the show earlier. It was 7 o'clock tonight, a bit earlier than usual, and it is the what are you drinking, Chris? I know. I know. Read into that what you will. Oh, that gin's strong. Yeah, Fofana. If you saw the show earlier, and if not, it is obviously on the latest show reel on Leicester LTIDtv on YouTube. We had Ankit on the Almighty Blues Chelsea channel, and we spoke a lot about Fofana there. So I don't want to give him any more time because he's a petulant brat, to be honest with you. I just hope Chelsea, if they do come back with a new bid, know what they're getting. Know what they are getting. I'm just going to put this out here. I just want to know people's thoughts because I am revamping the channel this year, and I am looking at possibly doing a nightly, as in Monday to Friday, a nightly radio show on the internet. What do you think? Would you be up for that? It would probably be something like 10 to 12. So 2 hours a night to start with, Monday to Friday. So obviously we've still got the YouTube channel going on. But I need some co-hosts. If you're up for that, if you fancy doing a night with me, if you know what I mean, not like that. If you fancy doing a night with me, 10 till 12, Monday to Friday, let me know what your night is. And let me know if you think it's a good idea, if it's something you'd listen into. Because obviously you don't want to do it and then nobody listens in. Talking about listening in, let's get him in now. Mr. Rodgers. So let's have a look, and I'm just going to try and see how I got this working. There we go. I got this working. That's what I wanted. I'm the right, Brendan. I'm the big one here. Okay, so let's have a look and see what he says. Let's talk our way through it, and I'll stop it as I play it as we go along, and I'll stop it, and we'll have a chat about it as we go along. But here he goes. Usually at the start, there's one person asks about 4 or 5 questions. So let's see how it starts.
First of all, ahead of your trip to Stamford Bridge, how are the squad looking?
Yeah, well, we obviously preparing well for the game, and yeah, we're looking forward to it. Squad at this moment in time is looking forward to the game, and yeah, we've obviously another day to go before we finalise our plan.
And what are you expecting from Chelsea? A few new signings from last season. Do you expect a different challenge?
No, it's always a tough game. You're playing against a top team. They showed in the last home game against Tottenham. They're a very good side, technically good players, and have that ambition and motivation to want to win. So and they'll look to bounce back from their last game against Leeds. So yeah, we anticipate a tough game, but we're looking forward to it.
And still looking for that first win in the league. How important could that first 3 points be? And have you done anything different in training this week? Well,
it's a matter of time. I think that what we've shown in certainly 2 of the 3 league games, Brentford and the Southampton game, that we mustn't stop. I think that was the message. Played very well for certain periods of the game, but you can't stop in the Premier League. You got to keep working. You got to keep concentrating, and yeah, it's reinforcing a lot of work of when we're good, but also increasing the intensity of our game, which is important.
I have to ask you about Wesley Fofana, Brendan. First of all, has he trained this week, and is he available for selection this weekend? Yeah,
he won't be available for the weekend. He has trained with our under-23 squad. So yeah,
And I know you spoke about it after Stockport, but are you expecting Chelsea to come in with another bid for him?
I'm not sure. It's of my concentration really with the players that we have and the team. So I can't lose energy thinking so much about it. If I'm honest, it'll be something that will be done between the clubs. Until that happens, then we have to continue to work with what we have.
So let's have a look at what he has said so far. Oh, hang on. We have a... I'm not going to ask what he's doing. I'm not going to ask what he's... All I'm going to say is, I hope you wash the curtains afterwards. Brad, hello, sir.
Oh, you know what? I miss your lovely intros, mate. Apologies for being late. You know what I was in the midst of doing. It just overran. I do apologise. It went on a lot longer than I planned to, mate. But good to be here.
It obviously wasn't talking about Leicester's.
Well, no, mate. I put them on at the end with a giant tumbleweed. So, yeah.
If you haven't checked it out yet, I did retweet it again. So it is on the Twitter, Leicester LTID. It's a matter of opinion, which is Brad's channel on YouTube. Get over there. He was looking at all the transfers for all the clubs individually tonight, which is why we said, he didn't spend long on Leicester. But just remind me if you can stay on at the end, because I just want to have a chat with you, Brad, about something we spoke the other day.
Yeah,
let's have a look. So, have you seen the press conference at all?
No. In my infinite wisdom, I thought, I'll get through this show. I'll get it done really quickly, and it'll give me. I'm hoping it'll give me about 20 minutes to watch it, so I can jump on at 10 and be ready for Chris, and then here I am now.
You and me both neither of us have watched it, so it's quite good to actually. I like watching it here live and then commenting on it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to say we're not going to talk too much about Fofana, and I'm not going to play back what you've missed. You've only missed the first few, shots across the bow, as they say. Doug is in. Fofana is a petulant little brat. Yes, I agree with you. Well, that's what I said, didn't I? Really. David Cross, I think Iverson will be the number one. I don't. I think it will be Ward. Ward, we know, is a very, very good goalkeeper. When he was second to Schmeichel, he, if I remember, saved a few penalty shootouts, got us through a few League Cup games. And as good as Iverson was, he saved 3 penalties. And like I say, I do remember Ward doing that in a Carabao Cup game over the last couple of seasons. We were playing Stockport County. They had, I think it was 4 shots all game. They had 1 shot on target. And if anybody thinks that makes him good enough to go in and play against Chelsea, then it's your opinion. I respect it, but I would question it. Ward's done nothing wrong. He's made 1 mistake. Schmeichel, he used to make them. Rene, how the devil are you? He was on Brad's channel. That's why you're late. Obviously, backing Brad up there. You checked your homework before you came in and made sure you got your toilet stories right. Joking. You're welcome along, Rene. I don't know if Brad's camera's gone at all, but
no, I just need to grab a glass of water, mate. So
that's all right. Not a problem. Scott, hello, Scott. How are you? Terry, okay, we're all appearing now. Chris, Rico, more paid close to signing for Everton. What's a signing? Evening as well. I hope we keep Fofana in the youth ranks and then up the fee for January transfer window. Rene, I hope Fofana goes in January. Rene, come on, guy, hit the subscribe button. Thank you, Rene. Thank you very much. Sherry, good evening. How the devil are you? Haven't seen you before. Not to say that you haven't been in, but you know what my eyesight's are like. I should have gone to Specsavers. I do, and I'm still no good. Welcome along. If it's your first time, give us a subscribe, smash those likes. It would be great. Scott says, stick with Ward, as I think Iverson will be the future, just not quite yet. Indeed, in a couple of years, if Ward wants to move on, then Iverson will be a good goalkeeper. And sorry, Sherry, you were saying Brendan seems disinterested and talks as he has lost faith. His body language is just, I'm no body language expert, but not impressed with it. But anyway, let's just go through what Brendan said, Brad. And I know you say you haven't listened to it. I'll just go through the main points here. The squad is okay, apparently. It will be a tough game. I think he just reels the same things out time after time. We are looking for the first win. Have we done anything different in training? No, he said it was really much as per normal. Now, what he said was, and this was the first point I want to talk to you about, he said, we mustn't stop. We've got to keep moving, got to keep playing. Now, the team stopped because it's the substitutions you make when we go ahead. Or am I getting something wrong here, Brad?
No, you're right. It baffles me that this man can sit in front of the cameras and the microphones and say, we need to play the game at a higher and faster tempo and we need to not stop him. Well, they ain't doing it for fun. I can tell you that much. They ain't doing it because they're thinking, I know what will work. Let's go and play. You know, they haven't spent the last 7-8 months going against what you train them to, Brendan. They're doing what you get them to execute in training. So, now do something different, maybe. I don't know, shock horror, maybe teach them something.
Yeah, I know. Good evening, Highfields. How are you, Sherry? We have spoke a lot. I apologise. I mean, my head's all over the place today. I've got my car's having an MOT at 9 o'clock in the morning. I think I need an MOT. I don't know about my car. Is it true you want Harry back replacing Fofana? You know, it's been. I'd have him back. I would have him back in a flash. Not for 80 million. No. I'd have him back for 20 because he was good when he played with us. He was a good player. What made him a bad player is whatever's going on at Manchester United, and we know there's a lot going on at Manchester United. So, you know, I would have him back in a heartbeat. And he's an England international, for God's sake. Who wouldn't want him back, you know? But hey, that's just me. Fofana's been relegated to the under-23s. He's playing with them. I think that's the least he can do, really, isn't it? I mean, I still don't know how he can face his teammates, and he's not having to at the moment, after not even standing up to applaud when Maddison got the goal against Southampton. And you've also got to say, would we have got any points from that game if he'd been on the pitch?
Probably not, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If that's where he's at, I'm at that point where, you know, and I was asked the same thing about Maguire potentially coming back, Chris, and I thought, I started thinking, and I might have said it out loud, knowing me, you know what I'm like, that I was thinking, well, at least Maguire didn't throw his toys out the pram when we told him how much he was worth and what Man United pay, and that's a club that Maguire's always wanted to play for. He's never made any qualms about it, so, you know, sod him, but I have no sympathy for him.
No, and to be honest with you, Ankit earlier, like I say, on the Chelsea Leicester preview show, still on, as I said, LTIDtv homepage. I said to him, I said, like, you do realise that if he plays really well for you in a year and a half time, Real Madrid or Barcelona will come knocking, and he'll be doing the same to you.
Yeah, sadly, it's an expression, isn't it? And I know we've had different examples of it over the year. Obviously, when I was going through the ins and outs on my show, I obviously managed to mention the fact that Danny Drinkwater had finally been released by Chelsea. That was a prime example who's someone we thought Pastures knew would be great, and it didn't work out at all for him. Well, Chelsea could end up paying us the 85 million, which we deserve. Our owners deservedly should hold out for what they value him at.
Yeah.
But again, you look at their recent transfer action, they could be selling him for 85 million, and it come the summer afterwards when he throws his toys out the pram and says, Mum and Daddy, I want a big mansion in Spain.
Totally.
If he's going to buy all his career, it'll be a very short career.
He said, what Rodgers said then, and before we go back to him, that there's not another bid coming yet. He's not thinking about that. He's just getting on with his job, which is probably one of the best things he said. It does look like they will come back in with another bid. You see, what pisses me off, right? With the so-called Big Six clubs, is, let's say they don't come back with a bid and he stays. We've now got one unsettled player. It's completely messed our plans up for the start of the season. It's completely unsettled the team, and it's affected the squad. It's affected him, obviously. So why, we've said what we want. If you want him, come and get him. Pay what we want, and he's yours. And I think, to be totally honest with you, me and as a lot of people who were on the show earlier were saying, take the 70 million and bite the hand off.
Yeah, but the problem is you cannot show an ounce of weakness in this transfer market. And if you stand there and go 85 million, and then that same person comes back to you the same day or a day later or however long and goes, how much for Fofana? It's 85 million, like I told you yesterday. I'll give you 60 million. Well, you can't have it then. It's 85. And if you keep that process going, then Chelsea keep playing stupid, going, we'll give you 65 million plus £2.50 a week until he gets to 85, or whatever stupid way they come and try and negotiate it at us. And Leicester then eventually go, oh, go on then. For 72 million, you can have them. I know it's less than what we keep persisting for. You're gonna, what's that going to send the message out to every other club?
Yeah, no,
we thought we'd made that stance.
And we held out for it for Maguire and Man United, didn't we? So
and Mahrez at Man City, we held out for him on 60 million.
Indeed. Scott is saying, Chris must agree with you, but instead of having an MOT on yourself, maybe just a jump start. I tell you what, every time I went to bed with the ex-wife, I took some jump leads in with me. So I said to her one night, I said, I'll be up when I finish the show. I said, if you're not there, I'll start myself. Anyway, moving on. Please can you hit the subscribe button? Yeah, I mean, if we hold on to him till January, he might be worth 100 million if he gets into the French squad and has a good World Cup, and we might sell him for more. Geordie Toon for life. Hello, how are you, sir? I am well. I hope you are too. Unsettled. It has. I think it's had an effect, and Fofana to a degree. But at least Fofana's wanting to play. All right, he's not playing well at the moment, but you saw his face when he scored the penalty against that mighty Stockport County. That he's got the right attitude. We've had a year to sort it out. He's still got that he wants to play. He's just unfortunately it is just a bit awful at the moment. I think clubs are doing the right thing with holding out for the money. I'd even be more stubborn in January and raise the price. I mean, it's a market. It's a seller's market at the moment, isn't it? But let's have a look what else Brendan went on to say.
And just 3 years ago, the Harry Maguire situation when he left Manchester United, are there any similarities to that situation? Because it was something that went dragged on throughout the summer.
No, it was totally different. I think I was aware over the course of the summer that there's a possibility that could happen. And I think, in fairness to Harry, I've always said this before, and I'll repeat, Harry was, in terms of his behaviour and his focus for the club was fantastic. And right until last minute, he was with the team and with the squad, and then he moved on. So no, it is different. Obviously, in a few of my seasons here, we've lost obviously Ben Chilwell as well. But this, unfortunately, is just a little bit different. But our focus is with the team and the players that are available.
And just a week to go until the transfer window closing. Are you expecting a few outgoings and hopefully a few incomings?
Hopefully that can be the case. Yeah. But, be really good for the team, and to be able to do that, to improve the squad is always important. I think that is key for us. But everyone knows the situation, and until that changes, we will work with what we have.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
I could fall asleep, to be honest with you. I think, in fairness, he says we do know that Harry Maguire was a completely different situation, and he acted honourably. Probably more honourably than Tielemans is, because he signed that contract. But apart from that, he said no difference, and we know. I mean, the thing is, but if we sell Fofana and we say, right, Chelsea, have a word with us. I mean, let's face it, we're at Chelsea tomorrow. Top will probably be there as well because it's in London, and they'll get together and have a chat, no doubt, after the game. And if we say, and Chelsea sit there and go, look, okay, here's a check, 85 million quid for you. When we go and want to buy somebody, they're going to go, you've got 85 million burning your pockets.
Well, yeah, but that's part and parcel of football. I mean, we technically saw that, ironically, with Etienne's stance on Fofana originally, didn't we? We was trying to, in there, they were like, hold on a minute, you've just got 80 sodding big ones from Manchester United, and you're not exactly low. Well, we've reevaluated Fofana, and we're not moving from the fee we ended up paying for him. And eventually, after a couple of unsettling bids from us, we caved. I think we kind of tried a look, as every team's entitled to try and negotiate a deal that is cheaper in the short term and negotiate it. That we go, all right, and fair enough, we see it. Here's your 40 million. Now let's have a player, and that's all this is. It's just sometimes you have a player that handles it with respect and gratitude. Yeah. Sometimes you have a player that won't sign an extension but is happy to play football for you, which baffles me. But still more respect than this tosspot. Yeah,
indeed. It's amazing what we can say after 10 o'clock at night. It's a lot easier. Ravi's in. Good evening, Ravi. Thank you very much for joining us. How the devil are you, sir? Rennie, come on, Rodgers, please have you back and sell Fofana in January. I don't care. I'm pissed off. I just think we all are. I'm going to go through at the end of this, maybe have a look at some news items, but certainly I want to discuss Rob Tanner's piece. And I mentioned it before you came in, Brad. I don't know if you subscribe to the Athletic at all. The link's in at Leicester TID on Facebook and Leicester Till I Die, the group on Facebook and at Leicester TID on Twitter. It is a great article, and we've got Rob Tanner on, like I say, Monday night. So we're going to be going through that. I'm going to be reading it again over the weekend. And it's about a 20-minute read, to be honest with you, and picking out the big bits to talk to him about. But it is a bit. There are a couple of points I want to look at on that. But let's get back to the excitement of a Brendan Rodgers press conference.
Hey, Brendan, hope you're okay. With Wes, does he understand the action that you're taking? Is he being civil about what's going on?
Yeah, he's fine.
What's it like walking here in a morning, or walking into the building in a morning? Obviously, the situation at the moment with results off the pitch not so great. The transfer situation I think we all know about. I guess most people could be forgiven for maybe feeling a bit down about the situation. But what's the mood like in the camp on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. We're very lucky to work in the profession that we do. Jason, there are more important things in life, and like I said, football is obviously important for many people's lives, and we do as well as we possibly can do to make those lives as happy as we can. But when you're not winning games, it's all about process. You got to get back, get into work. I'm one of the last people that will lose my optimism. I'm very optimistic in life and with this team and with the club. So we come in every day. We're very fortunate to work in a great facility, and I know there's a lot of noise and speculation around what we haven't done in terms of transfers and improving the squad, but ultimately we come in here every day to improve and develop, and that hasn't changed.
Of the matches you played in the Premier League so far, you're getting plenty of the ball, although maybe not against Arsenal, I grant you. But I guess not creating that many real chances. I think you've only managed 8 shots on target in 3 matches so far. Actually, you are scoring goals, I grant you as well. But what do you put the lack of opportunities or the lack of real chances down to? Is it simply lack of creativity between certain players?
It's always about the team. I think it's about the collective. We, like you say, at Arsenal, we scored 2 and maybe didn't create so much, but I still think we've done enough to win the games. I think that that connection and those relationships improve as the season goes on. I think we've been in position, certainly in 2 of the 3 games, to have won the games, which we should have done. And I think but it's definitely something that we recognise that in the final third of the pitch, we need to speed up our game. It needs to, have that bit more flexibility, a bit more, not be so safe, and take that risk. And so that's something that we've spoken about and we've worked on.
Is that something that you...
I like that, Jason. He cuts a fine jib, and he agrees with me. I'm coming to that in a second, but apparently the mood is fine. You wonder, but he made the point I've made a lot, and I made it earlier as well. And I know you're not a stat fan, Brad, but yet we have plenty of the ball, but we have not been having the chances. 8 in 3 games is not enough. And he said, well, we need to speed it up in the final third. Surely we need to do more than that.
Well, maybe not, because it does look really nice, and we do get ourselves into very good opportune moments. It's just that final third, or one part of that motion is just too slow, and we either allow them to get numbers behind the ball, or we allow them to reshape, and that's what's really can cost you between having opportunity. I mean, you want to throw stats out like they're a negative or a positive, and I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying we've had 8 shots on target. We've scored 5 goals. Only 3 of them on target that haven't hit the back of the net. So at least we're being very economical and economical with with taking these chances. Of course, that run can't continue forever, especially with the likes of Chelsea coming up in the league. But the fact that we are at least putting these chances in the back of the net as unlimited, as very limited as the chances are, it's something that just gradually is coming. I think in a weird sort of way, and this is why we're all so frustrated and want and probably turning to the dark side, not because they have cookies, but because we're sick of seeing the same collapse from Leicester, and that is they play really good football, they score the goals, and then they go to this defensive back 10. But we've talked about it enough about that side of things. But yeah, it obviously is certain things, but it could literally just be as simple as making sure that smooth transition from Evans to Vardy and everything in between is smooth, and we can get ourselves further up the pitch quicker.
It'd be interesting because we did the show earlier. Of course, we've got no Maddison, and Craig picked his team, and we brought that back in. So every preview game now, we are going to be picking not the team that we think Brendan will pick, but the team that we think he should be picking.
If Jose Perez made it, I'm not watching it.
He did. And I've got to be honest with you. No, you tell me, right? I don't want to spend ages on Perez, but he had a good game against Southampton. He linked up well with Castagna, and he deserves his place. And I've got to say, drawing the line from last season and giving everybody a fresh sort of start, if you like, I've been impressed with Perez this season. But he's gone 4-4-2, so he does cut a fine jib. And I'm just going to say, mate, you know what? Scott said he'll put you on timeout if you keep mentioning Sean Dyche. I just don't know why you want him in, even in the short term. Because what he said the other day on his show, I was on his show with him, was that he wanted Sean Dyche to come in now and replace him on a short-term basis. And I just, and I'm going to say this to you.
Get a life, will you, love?
Because it is the most stupid thing of getting him in. I just don't know.
Oh, will you stop asking stupid questions?
Indeed, Ant. That's all I can say. Have we done enough to win the games? That was what Brendan finally said at the end of that to Jason.
Again, we as everybody knows, we talked about it at the post match, and over the for the majority of the match, we did enough to be the team that should have easily won that game. In terms of we were on top, We was putting the pressure on them. We were squeezing their back line. We were forcing mistakes. And even though it was only 25, 30 minutes of decent football, I wouldn't even say good football, but decent-ish football that Southampton played, they still deserved the result because we went back to rabbits in the headlights. So you judge, games not, I think it was Mourinho or someone said the game's not won in 60, 70, 89 minutes. It's won over the course of 90. And over the course of 90, we weren't good enough. That's why we lost the game.
Or if we're playing Tottenham 96, of course.
No. I just...
I know. I'm sorry, mate. I will, in fairness, I'll say this.
Shut up in your face.
Now, Facebook user on Facebook, don't know who you are. Stick your name at the end when you're not signing into StreamYard. I think they say Randers. That was who we played in the Europa League conference last season. Ranieri got us to the league. Okay, and I'm not turning this. I say we want to get through the press conference here, but just FA Cup and a Community Shield against arguably the best Man City team we've ever seen. Seriously, do you know why the Manchester City end was so empty of Manchester City fans? Because Pep Guardiola had said before that he was going to play the youngsters. So no, I'm sorry, you think that, and like I say, I do respect different people's opinions. It is only a matter of opinion, isn't it, Brad? But
certainly is, man.
But no, that was not the strongest Manchester City team. That was the youngest Manchester City team, and we struggled with a last-minute penalty to beat them. And I can look back and thinking like, oh yeah, Marty had a really good game. Until the 70th minute, I think they'd got like a couple of 19-year-olds up front. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but it was, that is why Man City's end was empty. And FA Cup, you could argue we deserved it, but let's be honest with you could also argue we won it by a toenail.
No, I don't care how we won it. I will never tarnish anybody for that. I don't care if it was John Pope III that was managers for that game. I don't care if we had a separate manager for the FA Cup. I will never, ever, praise him enough and thank him or the squad enough for that. I don't care if it was by VAR. I don't care if Ben Chilwell's unclipped big toenail is the reason we won it. We won it.
We did. No, we won it. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't this. We go out and win 5-0 or something like that.
It was also Chelsea as well. It was also Chelsea.
I'm just putting it into perspective.
I get what you're doing.
It's great. We've won it. I've got a little trophy up at the top there and what have you.
Spurs would die for that.
Yeah, indeed they would. We've been hearing for over a year now, give 10 more games. No, just get rid of the man. Get him Poch. I'd love him. Not Sean Dyche. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look what else Brendan went on to say.
Just have to communicate with the players about, or is it something that comes from inside, maybe a bit of self-belief?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything. I think at this level, and if you want to compete at the very top level, but certainly throughout the Premier League, you need to have big belief. That's very, very important. There's things that happens within the game, that you can work on the training field, but there's certain moments of intuition in the game and a will to score a goal and a desire to score a goal. That's absolutely vital. So there's many factors to it. Clearly confidence is one as well. But I think, like I said, if you look at the Brentford game, we were excellent for 60 minutes. If you look at the game against Southampton, how we played in that for up to 60 minutes, the tempo of the game, the speed in the game, with numbers in the box. And like I said earlier, we mustn't stop that. And I think that's been the difference. But we've stopped when maybe there's a comfort in the game. But at this level, you're never comfortable, like we've seen at 1-0 and 2-0. So we just have to keep promoting our work, because if you're going to achieve anything and get back to any sort of level, the basics of that is hard work, and that's something we reinforced this week.
As you know, management isn't just about what you do before a game, it's what you do during a game as well. Do you regret maybe some of the changes that you've made in those home games where you have been in front and they've turned either into draws or defeats, and the other managers has maybe changed the games in a more positive manner and obviously gone on to gain points or win?
In different circumstances, and if you're 2-0 down in a game, the game becomes random then, so you can make as many changes, or you can make 5 changes, and if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, if we don't get the results, it's my responsibility. So whether you make a positive change or you don't get the result, it's the responsibility is the manager. But you always do what you do at the moment, and you have that feel in the game. And like I said, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. I don't necessarily reflect back so much on it. I look at the game and analyse the games where I can be better, and look to be better in our next game.
Last couple from me. What's the latest with the set piece coach? Are they coming in soon?
Yeah, there's nothing to add at that moment.
Good luck.
Hi, Brendan.
So, no news on the set piece coach then. Obviously, still in the visa problem, stuck somewhere.
I can understand us making a mess of transfers in regards to players, but you know what? I've got to give our club credit. I'm going to give them a round of applause because could completely fuck up transfers that are with your fucking staff. It's fucking incredible. That takes some effort. That takes some doing. How can we get... So we've got our chief of recruitment, or whatever you want to call him, that can't do anything because he's leaving on a garden from Southampton. So we can't have him yet to do his fucking job until the window's closed, after the most important and pivotal point for him to do his job at. And now we've got a set piece coaches that can't get his Visa MasterCard in to get to the country. What a joke. No, move on, just cry.
I'm just replying to Sat. Sat, excuse me, lovely to have you in, mate. It's been a while since we spoke. Hope you are well. I'm just saying, you can sub on YouTube if you've got a YouTube account, and then that will bring you up, obviously, with the YouTube. If you are on Facebook, as you appear to be, just click the link for StreamYard, and then it is... It will just show us who you are. It will show your Facebook profile, no cost and nothing to download. Just click on the link. So Rene's off. Goodbye, Rene. Thank you very much for popping in. I mean, we're at the end of that question, and Jason said, "Good luck, Brendan." He didn't even get a thank you back, so maybe Brendan was feeling a little bit peed off. Yeah. What a great question from Jason, and he 2 weeks now, he's asked the questions. Does Brendan regret the changes that he made as he's been turning draws into defeats and wins into draws? And what a absolutely fantastic question, which was probably why he never got a goodbye off Brendan.
Yeah, and the problem is whilst it keeps happening, this isn't something that's just happened over 3 games. Brendan's been very restrictive sometimes when it comes to his substitutions, very repetitive. It's funny how we can predict on the 60th minute he's going to make a sub, and in both the games that we had some positives to take from, we were only good for 60 minutes. I don't know if Brendan has ever played dot to dot as a child, but maybe if he can't join the dots up, that's why he's struggling a little bit. But, and again, this isn't a defence to Brendan. The thing is, you can grit your teeth and bite your tongue for a transfer window with getting asked the same questions day in, day out by his mates down the pub, by his wife at home. Is this true? Is that true? Whatever. And, you can bite your tongue during these crazy months, getting asked the same questions over and over again. But it must be frustrating when you're asking the same questions over and over again from different people, and then you're answering them and nothing to change. The one thing I would say is, what's Jason expecting to say? Other than, like he said, when the result's bad, I take the responsibility for it. I make changes as any manager does. We've got rid of types like 5 to try and change the outcome. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I will say, as much as we want the real answer to that question, because we know what we're asking and hoping Brendan to say, what are we expecting to go? Oh, that's because I'm a fucking idiot, mate. Yeah, I made donut. He's not going to come out and say that. Are we expecting Brendan to come out and say he's an idiot and say he shouldn't have made them change? No, he's going to say, you notice how he didn't use the fact that he made changes at 2-0 up against Brentford or 1-0 up against. No, he specifically mentioned being 2-0 down to Arsenal. That was what interested me. The fact that he wouldn't talk about it is as if he was saying, why did it matter? I tried to do everything. We were 2-0 down. I can't perform miracles out my arse, nor can the players. Stop asking me about my fucking substitutions. It's doing me head in. And I feel like, unfortunately, Jason Bourne has asked a question in a way that we wanted it to be asked 8 months ago, and all these other little journalists have asked it between them in the space of 7 or 8 questions. Yes. And I can understand maybe why he's kind of just gone, oh, well, good luck. I understand that you really don't want me asking this question. I think he can read the room, Jason, and and that's why instead of asking his second question, because he said there are 2 questions, he's just left and gone, all right, okay, good luck, fair enough. As if to go, oh, I can tell you're getting a bit sick of hearing this question reworded to you every day by not just himself but other journalists. So, that maybe is. Because imagine if I ask the same question every day.
Because, of course, Jason used to work for BBC Radio Leicester.
Yes.
He was sort of, basically what Owen is now. And Ian Stringer, who has now left Leicester, so we wish him all the best with what's going on in his life. And he might be coming on the channel in a few months, but, when he's up and ready. So we wish, Ian Stringer all the best. We have got the worst defence in the fact that we've let in 8 goals. We haven't got the worst goal difference, but that is the elephant in the room. Certainly has, as Ray said there. I think this is sat again. We're Leicester City. When has it never been frustrating? You put R at the end, and I know it's you, Sat. I know it's you. I've missed your R's. That sounded wrong, didn't it?
Yeah. Clip it.
We'll quickly move on.
On the injury situation, are there any fresh injuries ahead of the trip to Chelsea this weekend?
We're getting a show around James Maddison, but we'll see how that is tomorrow. So hopefully he'll be okay. But that would be the only doubt at the moment.
Is that hip problem that he's had before? Or something different?
No, just felt a twinge yesterday and when he was training. So yeah, we'll have to see what that looks like tomorrow.
Okay. And I wondered about Ryan Bertrand. I know we've not seen him for a long time, but is there a timescale you have on him at all about when he might be fit again to be in line for selection?
No, there's no timeline at the moment. He's awaiting an operation, so no time on that at the moment.
Okay. On Wesley Fofana, I wonder for you as a manager when you would consider bringing him back in, your thoughts for selection. When is the right time to do that if this move to Chelsea doesn't happen?
Well, I think for me it's always about the commitment and when the players are ready to commit to the team and the ethos of the team. I think, like I said, it's been a challenge for Wesley. So, and if you're not in the right frame of mind and you have to respect the welfare of the player, then that's we have to push on. But listen, the window will shut in the not too distant future, and then obviously a lot of things become much clearer after that finishes.
What was the conversation like when you were talking to him about him not being involved in selection processes and him then being training with the development squad?
It was okay. It's a private conversation, so I'm never going to go into too much here, to be honest.
Okay.
And fair dues, I agree there. It is a private conversation. He I said this earlier, as somebody who's been going through depression and anxiety, as a lot of people have been, I'm not going to go down that route with him. He knows how he feels, and he's obviously spoken it through with Brendan. He's accepted training with the under-23s until he gets his mind right and feels he can, either goes or stays, and he's ready to play again. Maddison in doubt. I think that's why Craig ended up going 4-4-2. If Madison's in doubt, I mean, Craig had Vardy and Inacho starting as the two up front. No Tielemans, but he had Pratt in.
I'd love to see Dennis Pratt in the squad. I really would. I really would love to see him in the. Sorry, something just came across my screen there. I'd love to see Dennis Pratt in. For a player that, last window, the loanies, etc. That he's had. I think he was at the start of this window. He was probably the first name that everybody was putting in the shop window, and this is something I will never back down on. And it clearly shows with Pratt is the perfect example for attitude in terms of Brendan Rodgers is definitely one of the best individual man management managers I've ever had the joy to see handle players at our club. I'd put that even further in terms of the fact that he's been able to look at Pratt, who would have been well within his rights to go on to Leicester, to you, Brendan. I ain't listening to what you've got to say. You clearly don't want me here. I'm off. See you later. Get me sold as soon as you can. I don't care if it's for a tuppence or 10 million. I don't care. But he's not. And we've seen in the interviews, Chris, we've actually really praised the fact that Pratt's here, wanting to put on the Leicester shirt, really show the fans what you do, and cement a place in the thing. I'd love to see, if Maddison isn't available and that twinge does rule him out, which, if we know anything about our injury history, I would actually probably rest him for Chelsea, Maddison, and make sure he doesn't twinge it and make it worse. And I'd love to see Dennis Pratt take that role and really nail it down.
I agreed 100%. And I'm not dropping Tielemans because of his trouble. I'm dropping Tielemans because he's just shit at the moment. Pure and simple.
He doesn't deserve.
Brookline's back. Brookline, it has been absolutely ages, sir. I thought you'd been sent down with Trump. Nice to have you in. Nice to have you in. It has been a while. And I'm just having a look at C96. Well, C96 basically saying there, as Wesley sort of looked at it and thought, we're not adding players to this. Maybe, we're not moving in the right direction. And I said at the start, as pretty much what C96 has said there, is, Tielemans, he's going to look at that and thinking, well, okay, I've got a year left. I might have signed an extension, etc. But what ambition are the club showing? So it's a very good point, 96. Jessie's in. Hey, obviously, I think she knows you, Brad.
Yeah, she does. She was on my show earlier. Hi, Jess.
Any messages for each other? Nice to see you, Jess. How are you doing? And like I always say to everybody, please, Brad's channel, A Matter of Opinion. It's a great channel. Basically, it's an argument without the shouting. It's all about opinions.
It's a village and an idiot arguing with himself on one screen.
This is very true. And then the idiot comes and we have two idiots here. So
I know, right?
She says she's good. Thank you. Love your background. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. Somebody did say it looked like the superstore at one point, but I wish I had the money now. Right, let's get back and just finish off the last bits with Brendan here.
Obviously, you told us that there'd been a third bid on Tuesday morning, and you said that when we spoke after the Stockport game, that you didn't really know too much detail about that. How close was that to the valuation that Leicester have in mind for Wesley Fofana?
I've got nothing to add on that.
To bring players in, Brendan, obviously you've spoken about the need to move players out as well at the same time. Do you know how many more players need to leave the club before you're able to look within the means of the sustainable model to start looking at bringing players in?
We're probably looking at a few players at least to try and allow us to, to do some business to bring some in. So I think that's, as you say, that's been the model of the club, hasn't it, in terms of, a player moving on and releasing funds to bring in other players. So so we're probably looking up to a couple of players in order for us to help improve the squad.
And final one, Brendan, from me, but on Chelsea this weekend, because of their result last weekend, does that make them a little bit more unpredictable this weekend?
No, I think what you'll get an ambition to want to put it right. It certainly doesn't make the game any easier. They off the back of a tough game where Leeds played well and got the result, and they'll be wanting to go into the next game, which is our game, and get a positive result. So for us, we know that and expect that challenge. But for us, we go there with a view to look to get our first win. We know we can. We don't have to be the best team in the world to beat the biggest teams, of which we've shown that over our time here. So yeah, we go there with a real commitment and a real focus to get our first win of the season.
I mean, in a way, I kind of feel sorry for him. Because it's the same questions week after week, isn't it? There's nothing really there, and I've been trying to make notes to bring points up, but they're all points that we've spoken about before.
Yeah, and you saw again, like, what was that, like the second, third, maybe even fourth journalist that had that little quip at the end about West Brom. You can almost see he snarled up to go, I'm sick of this. As if he, when you just in your own head, you stop yourself from saying what's in your head. I think he had a moment like that where he was like, stop asking me the same pissing question, just wording it differently. And
I think he gave, was that when he just gave like a one-word answer or something?
Where he literally went, no, nothing else. Literally like that. And it's like, you can tell, and sometimes I do feel sorry for not just Brendan, but any manager in that sort of situation, because I feel like, do you need to have like a little sit down and a meeting beforehand? Do you not have a discussion and realise, maybe I just copy their answer of what he said, and I can cross that question off my questions list. I don't know what goes through.
It's like having a child and the child coming and saying, Daddy, can I stay up and watch the late film? And you say, no, it's too late for you. Goes off, comes back. Oh, please, can I? The kid's coming back and asking the same thing. It's very similar to that, isn't it?
Exactly similar. And again, that's why I think, and again, I admire Jason Bourne's questions that we talked about earlier, but he must be so sick. And I do admire managers. And we all take the piss and laugh when someone posts it on YouTube going, oh, look at this manager losing this brag in the conference. We all had a go at Jose Mourinho when he came up again, 3-3. I've won 3 titles more than the other 90. He did all that respect and walked off. It's like, well, these managers, I guess, like you said, imagine if every day I said to you, Chris, what's 1 + 1? 2. Okay. And now I went, I know. I educated the best here, mate.
Never missed
that. But you know what I mean? And then 20 minutes later, I say, well, June, Chris, what's 1 + 1 again?
Yeah.
After, if I asked you that every 10, 15 minutes, you'd be probably facing a sentence in prison because of it.
Yes. I'm very much, and Jesse says there, feel sorry for him too. No ambition, says C96. Brookline, the team has not played well because they were waiting for the away kit to finally show up. And I after the game against Southampton, we were both Brendan out 100%. I said I wanted Top to not be knocking on his door 9 o'clock the next morning and saying, come on, pack your bags, get your cardboard box, put your stuff in it and go. And I guess I was waiting to see sort of what happened at Stockport, which was always going to be a banana skin. We mentioned that, didn't we, after the game? You know, if you don't win 5-0, what's wrong with you? You know?
Yeah.
And I was but given over the time, I'm looking and thinking, well, actually, we avoided, unlike Fulham, we avoided the banana skin. We didn't, you know, and you see a lot of banana skins in cup games. That's why we love cup games. But
Exactly.
what we've also got to accept is, yeah, okay, we didn't score, but we were never going to be up for it as much as Stockport are, because this is their FA Cup. This is their one game in however long, unless they get Man United next round. Well, they haven't got Man United next round, but you know what I mean? And then you're thinking, well, hang on, let's look at the defence. We only, you know, we turn around and say they only had 4 shots and only had 1 on target because we stopped them having the shots on target, maybe. You know, but I've calmed down a little bit, but we will see, really see. Jesse, we're going to be coming on to the kit in a minute, actually. Paul, good evening. Late to the show. I hope you got a note from your mother. We'll be talking kits and Rob Tanner straight after this. We'll be back after this.
Matt Elliott here. Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Indeed, please do what it says and do what it says there as well. And that is press that subscribe button. And if you have already subscribed, please smash the likes. As I keep saying, it helps with the old algorithms. Brad, thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, you know my opinion. It kind of went down like a little lead balloon on the home kit. I'm not really a fan of our kits this season. I know there's a lot of similarities, but I get it. Adidas, you get asked to make thousands of kits for hundreds of clubs or whatever their numbers are for how many kits to sign. And it's not exactly the easiest to keep being fresh with your ideas. It's a nice take on a kit. I don't mind them trying different pattern. It's not my cup of coffee. But there are some people that are going to like it out there. I like the fact that at least, yes, it's an old design. I know there's a couple of other teams that they design shirts that people have already thrown up and gone, oh, it looks exactly like theirs. Well, they're only copying their own homework, sort of thing. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. I feel a bit underwhelmed by kits this season. I don't know if maybe it's because how big the sponsor is taking up so much of the shirt room, but people like it, people don't.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you already got one person disagree with me and Jess. I don't need to mention.
Sorry, mate.
So I was going to say, you know, if Wesley Fofana gets sold, she knows what I think of the kit. It'll go in a location.
Yeah. I mean, the sponsor is the sponsor, right? At the end of the day. And we know without sponsors on the shirts, we would be struggling. It's nice to have some different money coming into the club that we're not relying on the owners for it yet again. The fact of the matter is, it is a boring shirt. Now, you know, you could argue that 63 quid, it's bloody expensive. Yes, it is. Could you maybe offer an extra tenner if you didn't want the sponsor on? But, you know, all you're doing is pumping the price up. I was really looking forward to it. I thought green and black. And I tell you what, I mean, this shirt that I've got on now, which is the third kit, that was leaked. And it was actually spot on, you know. And they're finding more and more. And sometimes I wonder if it's the club leaking it to sort of see what the reaction is. But it was really nice. It was like, I think the one that was leaked for the second was black, you know, down the middle. And then green arms, like a bit like this, but black and green. And I thought that looks really nice. And I'm glad I don't like it because it means I don't have to buy 3 this season again. Yeah. But I do like the second kit. I know they played in it the other night. The third kit, sorry. I don't like that. I don't get the checkered edging at all. That said, Christmas is coming up. You know, who knows? Who knows? But at the moment, I'm sticking with just the first and the third. Terry says Rodgers would make a good decorator, papers over the crack. Jesse, the kit is gorgeous. The checks remind me of the classic Van shoe style. I must be old because.
No, to be fair, but I'm in Jesse's generation. Yeah, all right, that sent me back to a bit of nostalgia. I can see where she's coming from that, but I still don't agree. I still don't like it, but I can see why she's maybe getting a bit.
They keep calling it these classic. It's the classic icon range. Well, we only had green last season, and that's the only green we've ever had in our kit. I was looking back. Don't think we've ever had sort of green in it before. So
maybe pre-war days we did. But yeah, I'm with you. I can't remember anything distinct from our history ever having green in it.
No. 96 says here, what are your views on Brendan Rodgers answering questions on the club financials? I don't think he did today. I think he avoided them. And he's been there
Maybe
in the
something
past.
he could have done fucking 6 weeks ago, but at least now he's avoiding them.
Exactly. I really don't like the collar this season. I understand they're trying to be retro, but it doesn't look good. You see, Jesse. You don't like the collar. I mean, I'm just looking.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
It is a generational thing, I guess, because I didn't understand the Vans. I grew up when we had the old Admiral kit and we had the white things going around the arms with the Admiral logo on and the white collar. The years of Frank Worthington, Alan Birchnell, Keith Weller. And this is the best home shirt we've had. And I love last season. This is the best home shirt we've had in ages. But again, that's my age. Didn't we have a Fox? Actually, we did. We actually had. No, that's quite true, Paul. Steve Leinix wore one the other night, mate. The green stripes, of course. Yes.
It wasn't Fox Leicester, was it? Was it Indy or something like that? It was green with yellow stripes, weren't it?
Yeah, it was Ein Coop.
Ein Coop, that's it. I had Indy in it. I couldn't think of Ein Coop, that was it.
That's the Gary Lineker era, because it was the blue and white stripes was the first kit. This was the days when we only had two kits. So, Ant is saying the collar is sexy. I like a big chunky one. I've heard that, Ant, and apparently that's why
that's for a different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you sat on a cushion because it'll be sore, mate. Jesse said, fair play. Sat says, agree, round collar or V-neck. Indy, he says. Okay. Now, look, and I appreciate you coming on, and we are going into the wee small hours if we're not careful. Before I get on to this last bit, and this is something we've spoken about before, and we'll talk about it afterwards, Brad. I am looking at the possibility of doing a daily radio show. Now, when I say daily, I mean Monday to Friday. I don't mean weekends as well. And it'll be like a 2-hour, probably at 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock every night. Bit like the sports bar sort of hours. You can say a little bit more and then get away with it there. It will mean bringing all the 9 o'clock shows forward to 8 o'clock, just to confuse matters, as you probably saw in the message if you saw that, Brad, earlier. If you are up, Craig's got himself down for a night. I'm going to take a night because Brad's interested in doing it as well. If anybody wants to come on and co-host on a different night, just to sort of mix it up a little bit, because I don't want to sit there for 2 hours on my own talking, and I'll start to answer myself, and all I end up doing is arguing with myself. So if you're interested in that, and let us know, would you be interested in listening to it? Would you know?
Better looking at us.
Well, that is the bonus. You beat me to it. That was the plus. Every cloud, as they say. But yeah, let us know if that's the sort of thing that would interest you to listen to. And then if you also want to pop on and maybe think about being a thing. 10 to 12 in the morning? No. 10 to 12 at night. Sat. Still in bed at 10. What are you on about? Now, Monday night is a bit of a change around. We're not going to have a review show on Monday night. That would, C96 said he would come on if he's free. Brilliant, mate. We've got a few changes in the shows. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because of course it's Bank Holiday Monday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're doing the shirt review show because virtually every club now has got all 3 shirts out. Villa haven't, but I don't care about Villa. I was just waiting for Leicester to have all 3 out. And myself and Doug will be reviewing those at 4 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, we've got the prediction show with Brad and Steve. And we're going to have to really race through those because we've got 2 weeks worth to do because it's a midweek game. And at 9 o'clock, I've got Rob Tanner coming on the show. I said ex-BBC Radio Leicester and now Athletic. And I'm going to be talked to. I did touch on this earlier, so I'm just going to read a few things out here because he really knows the stuff. I trust him almost as much as I would believe Fabio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
There's certain players that you think, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. You know, they say like, oh, it's only in the sun sort of thing. But you know, I do trust Rob. He's been on once already. He's coming on Monday, right at the end of the window. It's going to be good. Sat, you are a gentleman, sir. You've both been superb. Thank you, Face, very much. Terry said he's got a face for radio. Welcome to the club, mate. But he's written this bit. He's written this bit here in the Athletic, and if you're not subscribed, get 6 months for £1 a month. And it's basically Leicester City. What's going wrong? And I just want to make a few points. He has a subheading here. What is Rodgers thinking? And let me just take it to the point where I was going to read it out. Signings had been lined up, says Rob Tanner, but Rodgers' main targets went elsewhere, including the one deal he thought he would get, the £14 million, $16.5 million or euros, permanent signing of Ademola Lookman. Rodgers has repeatedly talked about the loss of Lookman, who has joined Atlanta. To the manager, $14 million was a bargain. He's also said his squad is weaker than the one that finished last season, especially as Ricardo Pereira is now missing for 6 months with an Achilles problem. Leicester's slow start to the season appears to vindicate Rodgers' assertion investment is badly needed and places more pressure on Director of Football John Rudkin to loosen the constraints. But only departures of existing players will allow that. Rodgers has 3 years to run on his contract and is the highest earning manager in the club's history. And he's been in charge at Leicester longer than any other club in his career. It is uncharted territory, and despite his frustrations and concerns over the direction of the club, he won't walk away. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, we've kept coming out and saying, like, well, Rodgers, he's passing the blame, he's passing the buck, blah blah blah. And I was thinking about this today, is when you go into your manager's office at work, well, I'm not working at the moment, but you know what I mean, and he has a go at you, do you actually just sit there and go, yep, you're 100% right, yep, totally agree with you, yep, I'm rubbish? No, you try and defend yourself, don't you? And I guess really that's all he's been doing, because he is the manager, so the buck stops with him. So if we get relegated, he is out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in fairness, if we didn't know about all this that was going on, we'd be saying Rodgers really is bad, and we're saying he's quite bad at the moment. So I can understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, and again, you know, I think sometimes we forget that he isn't human being and he has commitments, which means, you know, he gets asked a particular question and in his head he might be screaming, well, this is the reason, that's the reason, that's the reason. And someone very, very rarely, very, very, very rarely does a manager have enough sway to get away with having a jibe at maybe the owners without fear of losing his job. And maybe there's some things that Brendan wanted to say in the heat of the moment, but he's chose to answer it as professionally as he can. Bland, people may say, but it's professionally as he can. So he's not throwing any under the bus, he's not risking his job, and he's not risking basically coming out and saying, long and short of it is, I wanted to sign players, I was told I couldn't. You know, he could have easily done that and made our owner sound like he's suddenly an idiot, and then fans start getting on our owners back when they've been nothing but wonderful for the club. Yeah. And I have to give credit. Sometimes it takes a man from the outside to report the whole truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth, as they would say in a court for. But to give us that details that maybe Brendan wants to be able to say, and he hasn't been told. He's been told, right. My advice is remember what we said. That's it. Look, that's the situation. If they ask you about it, you know what your responsibilities are as manager. You don't need to talk about finances or why you've not got money. Just say get players out to get players in. That's your job. And that maybe he's just doing exactly what he's told. Like some of these players are told when they keep asking him, "Oh, Gaffer, what about Wes though?" And you know he's telling them, "Get on with it."
You know what they say though, don't you?
You want the truth?
No smoke.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth!
Indeed.
Well, yeah, sometimes some people can't either as well, mate. Sometimes people are that, and they've got such a vendetta towards Rodgers that they don't want to hear it as a reasoning and give him sympathy. When realistically, like you said, had we heard it maybe from the off, we'd have gone, all right, you know what, fair dues. He's trying to get Lukeman in. He's trying to get these players out. What we've also got to remember, as much as this squad thinks Rodgers is great, if Leicester goes on 100 grand a week and Fulham are only able to pay him 70 grand, then, you know, turning around and saying, oh, well, we'll pay you 70 grand, but come to us because you get first team football. Your loyalty's only to a push in this game, isn't it? You know, minus the odd exception. Loyalty only comes at a cost, if anything.
I'm just looking here because I've been meaning to do this all summer and I never got around to it because you don't know exactly how true it is. But I'm just looking at players' wages here. Kasper Schmeichel was on 130 grand a week. His replacement, Danny Ward, is on 20. Johnny Evans is on 80. Ryan Bertrand's on 44,000. How the hell did he get that when Danny Ward's only on 20? James Justin apparently is 8,250. Wesley Fofana's not even on 20 grand a week. So I presume, you know, if he's going to get a good wage rise if he does go. I don't think all these can be true. James Maddison, 110. Who was it you just mentioned then?
Jestergaard.
Right, let's have a look. Apparently, Samara's on 99,000 a week. Apparently, it's based on the lcfc.com, BBC Guardian, Premier League.com. Jamie Vardy is the highest player. Let's just have a look for Jan Vestergaard. And believe it or not, I can't find him. Where are we? He should be there with the defenders. Maybe this, I don't know. Maybe this was done before he signed. It doesn't say it. It doesn't sound it. But yeah, like I say, it is a point. I'm just going to say to Bertrand is having another knee operation now as well. I mean, when we signed him, I'd said to you, didn't I? This could be the signing of the summer. Free, experienced, and like Brendan said, he was due to come in and replace Christian Fuchs. He looked really good in the pre-season with his free kicks, and then you get injured, and you know, it's not his fault, I suppose. Injuries, isn't it? Homer knows the truth. Oh, Homer does. Oh, Sat says could be an idea to get a statement from top. We've mentioned that in previous shows, haven't we? Terry just says here, seriously, you mean on Spotify? No, all the main shows that aren't visual, so like the watch-alongs and the shirt shows, all the shows are available on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple, Google, iTunes, whatever, you know. They're all available. The one ones I don't even know, but this will be on like an internet radio station if we go ahead. Just want to end this off now, though, Brad, with the next section, just to quickly have a look, is what is the club's hierarchy thinking? Now, you know, people will say to me, well, you're up and down more often than the bride's knickers on a wedding night when it comes to Rodgers. And yes, I am. I've got to be honest with you, because we form an opinion, and that's what these shows are all about, whether it's ourselves or any other Leicester channel or any other football channel, you know, even Mark Goldbridge. We are here to have an opinion. We're not right. We're not always perfect. It is our opinion, and that's what it is. And when you just watch your team, play like we did against Southampton, we are going to be annoyed. And it takes somebody like a Rob Tanner, because you won't get it off Fabrizio, because obviously he's just quick, short, he's going, this is where, here we go, and all that. But Rob Tanner writes it all out, and it does make you think. So this for me made really interesting reading, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Brad. Leicester have made losses of £120 million over the past 3 years after recording profits for the previous 4 years. But we're not actually that close. To breaking the Premier League's financial fair play rules. Clubs are allowed permissible losses, such as the money spent on COVID-19, community projects, the academy and infrastructure, including the training ground, and the women's team, which meant that Leicester were inside the threshold of 105 million of losses allowed over 3 years. Well, when you come to think that the training ground was 100 million, but they know what is coming in the next set of accounts to be published next year, which would cover 2021-22, and they are concerned to the point they have decided to act now. They want to protect the club's financial situation and avoid the prospect of being unable to compete in Europe if they qualify, because they have failed UEFA's far stricter FFP rules, which stipulates the club total expenditure on transfer wages and agent fees cannot exceed 70% of its revenue. The club's wage to turnover ratio was 105% in 1920 and 85% in 2021, due mainly to improved contracts for the club's best assets. Leicester know they have to reduce that despite the revenue increase in their latest accounts. In short, they have to balance the books and have had to put the brakes on now. That is probably, and I said that what Rob Dorset wrote on the Sky website a few weeks ago was excellent. Those few paragraphs there are probably the most sensible thing I have read about our club this whole transfer window.
I'd be very inclined to agree with you, and I think it's the most clearest answer we as fans are going to get to the burning question of what exactly is it? Is it just a case of, losing a Samore and then getting someone in? Clearly it's not. Clearly the reason is we're thinking not just ahead, but say Leicester do have a good season and get a European spot, but we're already under the influence there that we would not be within their regulations. So we would be ill prepared for a European journey because we'd have to sell further players to bring that in. And I think that's the clearest and simplistically worded answer you're going to get, so it could be understood and fans get a really good understanding for the actual full reason behind it. Because you can only speculate so much and make common sense assumptions, which I and others have posted. Common sense, i.e., like you have as well, Chris. King Power losing money, investing in the surroundings of the brand. We all know that side of it, but this is the side that kind of, but what else? Because we know there's something else than just the obvious that stares you in the face. And it's good to hear that we've got this what else written out for us in plain English, as they simply say.
Yeah. He went on to say quickly, Leicester have made sizable contract offers to Maddison and Tielemans, but the departure of Kasper Schmeichel to Nice removed one of the biggest earners. Schmeichel wanted to stay for another 12 months, but Nice's 3-year contract offer was the best he was going to get at the age of 35, and Leicester decided not to compete.
Which is fair. As much as I love Kasper, that is really fair.
Yes, yeah. So I've got to say, I'm going to actually change my thoughts on Brendan, because when you read that, let's seriously say, do we all sit here and go, yeah, it's still Brendan's fault?
No, and the problem is, this is a different half of what his job entails, and I hope now maybe a little bit more acceptance can be brought on can be brought on to going, okay, it wasn't all Rodgers' fault. I think deep down we all know this isn't all entirely on Rodgers' shoulders. The only problem is, as fans, as long as we don't hear something drastic about the financial state of our club being in any crisis, the main focus is on results and how they're playing football. And if they're not playing football at a brilliant standard or a good way, I can begrudge. I've talked to you about certain tactics working to get Champions League or European football for other clubs, and they didn't like it. So, anyway, my point is, if you put that performance on a pitch, that's where the fans really care for what he's doing right or wrong. And if he's getting that right, then we'll leave him to do all the struggles and wish him the best to come out of it well in terms of being able to get us a transfer market and improve our squad for next season and this season. We can deal with and sympathise with that. What you can't do is let that snowball and pile up. And unfortunately for Brendan, I do feel sorry for him. Not only has that been brought to light way too late for some people to change their mind and give sympathy for him, but he's dealing with that and trying to get a cohesive unit out of the 23 players that actually give a toss about that club and want to play for Leicester week in, week out if they can. Out of the 25, 26 players we've got, unfortunately, 5% of them really, Tillemans is better because he's actually happy to still play and see out 12 months and there's some players that aren't, but I do sympathise with him more. However, if he doesn't improve results on the pitch, he's still got to go. I hope he does, because I never want to see a manager lose, because funny enough, more defeats are more detrimental to my football club and our football club.
Exactly.
And I like you said about the Welsh situation, I never want to see a manager sacked, but I always feel that it's better to say that.
Like yesterday, had we lost yesterday, whatever, I would have been shouting for Rodgers to go, because we should not be losing to those sort of teams. And Mike was in earlier, and we've got Newport again. Bring it on, revenge. But maybe I'm hoping too much. I don't know. But as C96 says there, it is all about the brand of football needs to change, and that's why I'm not totally Brendan in, because he's stubborn. We know he's stubborn. When we find something that really works, like Casper and Nacho together, he then changes it. So, yes, I agree. But I'm prepared to say, let's give him more time. Look at Arsenal last season. At this stage, 3 games in, they've got no points. So we're 1 point better off than them. And they finished fifth. Results do matter. This one, Ray, and we'll end with this one. Why can't we make Daka a right winger? A speed is top in the world. I want to say two players to you here, and then I'll explain why. One of them is Gary Lineker, and one of them is Musa, who we signed, you may remember, from Spartak Moscow. Yes. Gary Lineker was sold to Barcelona. After he'd been there a while, they sacked the then manager, which I believe was Terry Venables, and his manager ended up being Johan Cruyff. Now, you got to think, Johan Cruyff, he's going to know what he's doing, etc. And, of course, it was Spanish League back in the day there, and he could probably win, a bit like Celtic and Rangers. But he put Gary Lineker out on the wing.
Yeah.
Gary Lineker hated it. But Gary Lineker's fast, and he will admit, I don't think they ever scored with a header, and he never scored a goal outside of the 6-yard box, but he got into that 6-yard box to be on the end of all the crosses. Stuck out on the wing, he couldn't do anything, and he absolutely hated it. And and that's one of the reasons he actually came back and joined Tottenham Hotspur. Let's say Musa. Everybody went bad over, I've forgotten his name. A guy who joined us, French guy, scored 2 against Peterborough.
Vicente Diabate.
Diabate, yeah, that's him. Everybody went mad.
Called him diabetes because of how
yeah, everybody went mad saying, "Oh, look, this guy scored 2 goals against Peterborough. Is he not fantastic?" No, he was shit. And I'll tell you why. Because You were saying that about Diabate, who scored 2 again. Do you know Musa, on his debut for the club, scored 2 against Barcelona in that intercontinental shitty cup thing, whatever it was. And you know what? Ranieri went to play him on the wing.
Yeah, again, you know.
And we never got the best out of him.
No, but again, and this is no disrespect to him, because in fact, it's commendable for how amazing he's been as a player. It's the gift and the curse that comes with joining Leicester as a striker when your striking partner that you're training with is Jamie Vardy. It's a gift and a curse to have a player of such caliber at it, because whilst you play with one up front, or 4-3-3 as we've become accustomed to, and you have to take into account that when you've got an Albrighton or a Lootman or a Mahrez or a Barnes at your club, you're going to predominantly play winger. So unless you go for the traditional Mike Bassett, as I'm going to start calling it, 4-4-2, you're not going to play 2 strikers.
England will be playing 4-4-2.
Exactly, my testaments. Exactly. But again, unless you're going to go back to that old school 90s style way, because I feel like I saw it a lot in the 90s, you're never going to get these players to do that, and you're going to have to fight it. And Nacho and Daka will be told, look, you might have to like it and lump it, but this year, next year,
you do. Players are asked to play in different positions to help the club. Look at Tielemans last year. Mike, who we were just talking about, is in Bring On the Newport Massive. Diabate is now at Partizan Belgrade, apparently. Good luck to him. It was just shit for us. Ray says there, Vardy played winger, and he was absolutely, I think, not very good at it. That's where Roy Hodgson put him for England. And yet every Leicester City fan was going, why is he putting him on the left wing? Why isn't he playing him as a striker? That's why he didn't go to Arsenal, because they wouldn't play to his strengths.
No, they were going to play him as a winger as well. And we've all seen that infamous report from the person who apparently put the deal together, saying that he knew when Vardy sat down he wasn't going to join and da. Yeah. But also, you are talking about an England manager that put Harry Kane on corner taking duty.
Oh yes, of course,
and not that Tyson. I mean, if you're gonna put anybody on corner duty for England, you don't put the one who draws out the side of his mouth to take it, because he's going to slip overtake them.
I will ignore that and move on. The thing is, though, right? If we are right, we've just bought Samore. He is a championship winner in France for the one season, although you could argue that it was Poch that was in charge. When PSG didn't win it, he was in the team that won it. Brendan bought him for a particular reason, whatever that was, or the scouting team decided he was the one. And you know what? He's been asking him to change his style of play. And he's now selling him because he won't change his style of play. Well, guess what, Brendan? It's not rocket science. Whoever's picking these players, buy them for the position that they play in. If we need a right winger, let's get a right winger. You know, if we get, yes, we've missed out on Lookman now. If anybody's in who is a mod, if you can get rid of the sex troll that's in, please. I don't know if anybody. I don't know who's. I know Brad's gone. Mike is in, I think. So, Mike, if you can destroy them, I would be very, very grateful. Daka was with Trevor and Joe on the wings to deal with. We've got Daka to score goals. And let's be honest with you at the moment. Cheers, Mike. Well done, mate. Let's be honest. Vardy is not scoring goals for us at the moment. Now, I'm not saying he should be dropped. And we do know he seems to be going off on this sort of 65-minute time, which we said is probably how he's going to be. But do you know what? And thank you, Terry, as well. Do you know what? We then bring in Nacho on, who can't play up front on his own. But we've got Daka out on the wing. So then, we must have a right winger in the squad somewhere in the under 23s that we can bring through. Let's put. It's all about. Do you remember? Was it Ian Holloway, who I think he had Ian Hume playing on the wing at one point?
Yeah.
You've got to have round pegs in round holes.
I tell you what, I'll remind you of a winger that we never saw the light of day of, Bartosz Kaputska.
Well, this is funny you should mention that, because we've got the World Cup coming up, and there is a prime example of do not to buy one player on the strength of one good tournament, because you've seen them in 5 or 6 games, and Soyuncu, look at him in the Euros. We wouldn't have bought him after his Euro performance. Kaputska, player of the tournament, I believe, for the under 21s Euros, whatever it was, hardly saw the light of day for us. I mean, in fairness, who the hell's ever going to fill Mahrez's boots? That's the problem, Even his countryman, Gazelle, he was called Gazelle, but he ran like an elephant. There's no...
I don't know, I thought an elephant had more coordination and could control the ball better, but I see your point.
Possibly. But no, it's a case of let's put the players in where we should. In fact, the reason we didn't sign Lookman, I actually read it out earlier, Sat, if that is Sat, by the way. But it was what we've just said about having to balance the books and what have you.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring him in by the accounts.
Yeah. No, see, I disagree with this, Ray. Inacho could be a lone striker between Barnes and Daka, just like Harry Kane.
You don't know it until you try it. I mean, we've seen him over the last couple of years being able to hold the ball up better. And when he's played in that false 9 is what you're asking him to play. Shinji Okazaki played it a little bit when he was in a regular team. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Whether he can do it is a different question. And there's only one man that actually knows that answer. Or try it. We know very well that Brendan wants to make his players versatile. We've seen Maddison play across that park, haven't we? We've seen him on the left, we've seen him at the centre, we've seen him at the right. We've seen that with Barnes at points. He's even played striker for him in some points, which I know baffled people when we only had Nacho, thinking, why isn't Nacho getting it? But again, we're digressing. The point is, you never know. He might look at that. It might be something to work on in training. The only thing I do have a question with, and I know we're a little bit past it, but I will literally just said, the thing is Samore was brought in, and apparently from what Brendan actually said about Samore is he was told very, very clearly that his job was to be that hybrid, that player that could go to come on for Wilf if he was injured or we needed a replacement for it, or he could step up and do the midfield Tillerman's job. He came in with the impression that he could do both, and he was like, yeah, I could definitely do both, and I'm going to do that for the team. So I actually look more towards the player on that, because Leicester are going to always want to recoup money on a player if they've not gone well, but instead of doing a Dennis Pratt and getting his head down and saying, no, I'm going to prove it, I'm going to replace Ndidi if I get the chance, I'm going to muscle in on a midfield spot if given the opportunity, he's kind of gone, I don't like it here, I'd rather go back front. Yeah, and I think that's maybe what's happening as well. I think you have to also look at the player in that situation.
Yeah, no, it is a very good point. I mean, with every time the whistle blows, there's 30 to 70,000 fans in every stadium that think they can do better than the manager. So we're no different on here. Sat says, and I'll quickly run through this for you, Sat. First of all, can I please ask you to do what it says there? We are slowly getting towards the 1,500, and we've had somebody sub during the show this evening, so thank you very much, whoever that was. If you haven't, please get onto YouTube, onto the LTID channel, LTIDtv. Make sure you put the TV on, because there are a few LTID different channels out there that aren't me. LTIDtv. And please give us a subscribe. This was the team that actually Craig went for earlier. and he went for a 4-4-2. I haven't unfortunately saved it, so I can't show you a nice graphic. But Ward was in goal, and I've got to be honest with you, I completely agreed with him. Ward is in goal, 4 at the back, Justin on the left, Castagna on the right. Evans in the centre, centre back. Soyuncu as the left centre back. No Amati, Brendan. He cannot play on the left in any form. So Soyuncu, who had a decent game the other week. On the left, he had Dewsbury Hall. He's not happy with Barnes at the moment. On the right, he had I think it was some Spanish player. I don't know his name, but he picked him. And then in the middle, he had Ndidi, and then he had Pratt in that Tielemans sort of row. And up front, and this is probably the one that I disagreed with him, he went Vardy and Inacho, where I would probably have started with Daka, because Vardy just isn't knocking them in at the moment, and bring him on for the last 20, 30 minutes, whatever. But I did agree with I did totally agree with oh sorry, did I say Maddison? I didn't say Maddison, did I?
No, you said Wilfred and Ndidi
and Pratt.
Yeah,
because he typed Ndidi on when he sent me the message. But that was Maddison, sorry, but that was before we knew he was injured and might not be playing. I liked Perez the other day. He had, I think he linked up well with Castagna. And you've said this before, Brad, that if we're saying for a player like Vardy, well, he's not scoring goals, but look at everything he brings to the team. Look at all the effort he puts in. You've kind of got to say the same a little bit about Perez. And I'm never going to convince you, but as Jesse said there, I rate Pratt. He should be starting.
Yeah, I rate him well.
Let him go and start him. But apparently, and I did ask this, because after the Stockport game, and I can't remember whether I told you this or not, but Alan Bennett, who goes to all the games, he picks our man of the match for us, watching the game obviously makes the, you see a lot more. I actually asked him how did Vestergaard do, and he said he actually did all right. Now, I didn't give him a hell of a heap of praise, but all I remember is on the graphic that I was using in the show, Vestergaard was up past that halfway line so much, bringing the ball forward. And we're not having Fofana that does that. And yes, it was Stockport, I get that. But he was still part of the defence that absolutely, kept them down to 4 shots all game. I don't know if this is a wind-up or not, Jesse, but Brad knows I like Perez too.
Yeah, we've had discussions. Is
she being sarcastic, or does she like?
No, she does. She does. She's a fan of Perez, so
well,
it is what it is.
Like
not
I say,
perfect. Not everybody's perfect.
Apart from me, come on.
Well,
No.
There's a letter begins with P that I could describe you as, but that's
now, young man. Like I said, it's a new season. I've drawn the line. Everybody starts on that line again, whether it be Perez, whether it be Vestergaard, Bertrand. They all start there, and let's see how they perform, because it is a new season. But hey, that was the. But I do like doing these, and we'll do them again next week if you're up for it.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's enjoying them as well, I'm up for timing permitting to make these regular. I do like going for his press conference and talking about any hot topics through the week.
I mean, on a Thursday, moving forward,
I will be doing mine 8 o'clock every Thursday, just so you're aware, just so you can look at that. And
well, no, last week we did it at 6, if you remember.
Yes.
And that probably. Where the hell have I put it? Honestly, if I was organised, I'd be there. There we go. On a Thursday, it's usually the match preview at 9. And it was only because it was late and I'd forgotten about it that we're still doing it this late. But it would usually be about 6 o'clock when we did it.
That's fine, mate.
Because all the 7 o'clocks are going to come forward to 6. And if we do the radio station, all the 9s are coming forward to 8. So we'll probably do this again next. Although having said that, we've got Manchester United next week on Thursday. So I'm not sure. Hold that thought next Thursday. It will probably be a Man United watch along, followed by the transfer window, which will be closed about an hour after the watch along. So it'll probably be one show all thrown in together. I don't know why I'm getting excited. It's not like we're going to sign anybody, is it? And
no, we in fact all we're doing is counting down to what time we can turn the cameras off and go to bed.
Really. And I tell you what, as well, who the fucking hell at the FA scheduled games on the same day as the bloody transfer window closes?
Geniuses, mate. Geniuses.
FA couldn't, piss up brewery couldn't, brings to mind. Brad, thank you very much, sir. We're going to call it a day there. Didn't quite get over the 3 hours that we managed the other night. For that was a watch along though. He said, he may have skied that penalty, but he's one of the only players to get a hat trick.
He is, Jesse. That poor penalty is coming through my window in Manchester from Stockport. He's going to come here in a minute.
Yeah, it's not so far, is it?
Jesse, who said to you through Messenger, I called it, didn't I? I said one of these between Maddison and Perez is going to sky it. So, yeah.
Didn't he hit the bar and it go over?
No, he cleared that bar well and truly good.
Right. Jesse said, I really enjoyed it. Thanks for the stream. You are welcome, Jesse. Don't forget, give us a subscribe if you would be so kind. Bye-bye, she says. And David, this is a good idea, Chris, Brad. So if you're up to it, yeah, we probably will, but we'll probably be doing it earlier in the night.
Yeah.
It's late tonight. Having said that, though, we've got a bloody good audience tonight. So I don't know. But if we're doing the radio show, it'll be on the radio.
We'll figure it out. As to say.
Ray, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Good night, Chris and Brad. Great show as always. Thank you, sir. Brad, we're gonna have a chat with you after the show. Stay in the green room. You did a show tonight. I shared the link in the Leicester Till I Die Twitter. What was it about, and where can people listen to it?
Well, it was about, funny enough, the other 19 clubs, because I did do Leicester at the end, but I talked and broke down all their transfers, ins and outs up till today. I went through all 20 clubs. I gave them my opinion on their ins and outs as a collective. And yeah, it was a really fun show. Had a lot of people on there. You can find me, first of all, not just here, but in the links and description, but you can find me on Twitter at Fulltime Focus. And if you search on YouTube, A Matter of Opinion, you will come across my YouTube, where literally every Thursday I have a topic selected for you guys that I'm going to be discussing and talking about. And if you guys like to be discussing 90s nostalgia, Disney, football, whatever the topic is, and you just enjoy that thing where your opinion's not absolutely torn to shreds for having an opinion. That's why you created the channel, so you can just give your opinion and feel fine to give it. It'd be great if you get over there and check it out. And obviously, make sure before you leave here, you do exactly what it says right there and subscribe before you head on over to my channel.
I wasn't able to watch it live because when obviously I had my own preview show, or our own preview show earlier. When I actually came off and downloaded everything and went on, you'd finished. So I was sitting to see what you said about Leicester, to be honest with you. Night, Paul. Thanks for tuning in. Mike, what is your away allocation? It's Newport, so you won't fill it, whatever it is.
3,200. The club can offer a minimum of 5% of the stadium's capacity to away games. So you work it out from our attendance, Mike. Your maths is going to be better than mine.
Yeah.
But a club is obligated to do 5, and they don't have to offer more. So it's about 1,000 off.
How are you going to get there, Mike? How are you going to get
set
there?
Up now.
Yeah. I was going to say something, but I'm not. Because it can be taken the wrong way, and I wouldn't have meant it the way it would have been taken. But Mike, if you don't go, just come on the watch along, mate, and we'll get the piss out of each other.
I won't worry about the away allocation. I think there'll be plenty of seats in the home end for that game as well.
Yes. Or depending how the season goes, I think there well could be. Brad, thanks very much, mate.
No worries, buddy. Enjoy it as always.
And we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for the question and answer show. And I'm pretty sure certain Mr. Fafana will be coming up on that as well.
Oh, I've got a funny feeling he might come up. You might see me lose my rag like Brendan if it gets sacked 5 times in a row.
Jesse said about 160 for you better hurry up then, Mike, because there's be down to 159 if you get one. But thanks, Brad. Speak to you in a second, and I'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, guys, for more of this. It's the show that you control. We will talk about whatever questions you ask. We usually have one question in to get us going, all Leicester related or football related, but mainly Leicester related. If it's not about football, if it's not about Leicester, don't bother asking it. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Cheers, Brad.
No worries, buddy. Cheers.
Thank you. All the rest, thanks to Brad there. He will be back, like I say, 8 o'clock tomorrow for the Q&A show. Yes, 8 o'clock tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing that. I can't even read a diary. I'm in the wrong weeks. Thank you so much. Like I've said so many times, if you are new, please click that subscribe button on YouTube. Help me get to my goal. That would be absolutely brilliant. And please, if you are subscribed, please click the like button. It does help. Jesse, thank you so much. That really does mean a lot. It really does. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. And if you ever want to come on and have a chat, Brad knows what I'm like. You're more than welcome. Not a problem at all. Mike, I do hope, if you want to go, I do hope you get a ticket, mate. And obviously, travel safe if you do go there. There are some nutter Leicester fans about. I'll warn you. But it's been great. It's been fantastic. Enjoyed the show tonight. Sloppy seconds, but it was a great show. And I will see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Like I say, get your questions ready. See you then. Good night. Remember, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Good night now.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Sam Spindler on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.